What is going on, y'all? Can you hear me? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. Hold on one second here. I want to make sure I can hear my voice in my headphones. Welcome to the show. Few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And at any point during the show, you can call in and we can talk about whatever. Calls are always fun. You do have that option. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. Send your question or comments there, or go directly to the YouTube area. Hit the super chat button there. I'll read your questions and comments live on air. Amazing stuff. So you do have those options. Shout out to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Punchy.tv, where my show is streaming across all those platforms. And you can watch it wherever. And do me a favor, hop up in that live chat, that chat room, and have a ball. You know what I mean? Start the conversation. We got it going on YouTube here. We got it going on Instagram. Let's keep it going across the board. Amazing stuff. I got some interesting things I want to share with you guys. Get you guys' opinion on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because I got some stuff that I came across. Lord have mercy. Lord, some stuff. Listen, I seen something scary yesterday. Oh my. Where did I even begin? Let's get into it. Where did I even begin? I saw something scary yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely getting shown. I'm definitely going to scare the chat with it. Oh, I'm definitely going to scare the chat with it. But before I get to that, I'm going to take a call. And then, maybe we'll get to that. But I'm talking about you guys better put the pillow over your face, scary. Like hide underneath the blanket type of scary. Like traumatize you kind of scary. Like you might be traumatized after this. But let me take a call first and then we'll get to that. So get your blanket ready, get your pillow ready, get whatever you need to cover your face. You know, when you're watching the scary movies, you got something right here. That's not me. I'm just talking about my friend. And you have it like this, just in case. When that big scary part jump out, you can go like this so you don't really see it. That's what you're going to need. So get ready. But let me first go to Caroline at a first-time caller at Texas. Caroline, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel. How are you?
All is well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. So, obviously, I don't know what you're about to get into, but I wanted to call in to ask about a relationship that I've been in for about 5 years now.
Okay.
We're not, engaged or anything, so we've been together for 5 years. We live together. I didn't start listening to the show or anything till I don't know, maybe a year ago. So I'm all over the place. But
okay. And when you say listening to the show, you mean JLP and Bond, Justin Lee Peterson?
Yeah, Bond all together.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, And I don't know. I mean, I guess like since I've been learning so much, I've forgiven my father. I haven't forgiven my mother, so there's that. But I guess like I'm so much in my thoughts that at this point I don't even know what reality is, and I don't know whether or not I should stay with my boyfriend or not. And I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decision, because I don't even know what reality is at this point.
And what do you mean by you don't know what reality is? What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I mean, I judge him a lot, if I'm being realistic. I mean, he's kind of a beta male. I don't know if I'm being judgmental when I say that, but he does like just a lot of things that I don't like.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that he does do that I like. I don't know. I'm just very judgmental. So I get to the point where I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can find somebody that doesn't do X, Y, and Z, Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to give you what I think, in my opinion. And I don't know the entirety of your situation or his side of the story as well. So I'm just going to take your word at what you say and just give you my perspective on it. What tends to happen when, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 23.
23. Oh, okay. So, and how old is he?
He's 24.
24. Okay. So you guys are young, right? You guys are young. You guys live together already. It sounds like you guys have taken too many steps forward and for a long period of time. And you guys are in this marriage type situation, which isn't marriage.
Right.
And you guys are 23, 24, still trying to understand life. And it just sounds like you're suffocating each other. And it's way too soon to be moving in with somebody that early. Ideally, because there's still maturing that has to go between two individuals. And it's good when you're dating somebody separate to where you guys aren't living with each other, because it gives you guys that space to be yourselves, gives you that space to miss each other, gives you that space to see other people or just explore different things or just to have doubts. It gives you that space to do that when you guys aren't moving so fast. But when you jump ahead, you get all the the pleasure parts of it, but you're stuck with the problems, and that's what it sounds like. Is that making sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we were still in high school, like, when we got together. So you're absolutely right. But I didn't know any of this until now. So I'm just now realizing all of this.
Yeah.
And I haven't even, like, talked to him about any of this. So he's fine. He's chilling. He's doing his thing. Like, and it's just me in my head thinking all of these things. So, and I don't even know how to approach that conversation either. Yeah.
Well, you definitely, one of the biggest things that a guy appreciates is when a lady is, for the most part, right? Every guy is kind of different, but for the most part, when a lady is completely honest about what she's feeling, what she's thinking. And this way it's clear and out on the table where you guys at, so you can figure out how to move forward. So you definitely want to bring this up and talk to him about this, because he may not even realize that he's behaving this way or what the issues are.
Well, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
What I will say is, like, before I started listening to Bond, like, I would vocalize the things that I don't like. Like, it's just very typical stuff. Like, he plays video games all night. He doesn't do anything, the typical stuff like that. So I would tell him all the time, which is, I was not in my place either to be, constantly nagging, I guess.
Yeah.
So I did stop that. But as far as, all of these things of whether we should, because I hear JLP say, well, y'all should move out. And, and I've thought about that, but I don't know what to do at this point, and the other day he was even talking about, like, oh, we should get married and all this stuff. And I mean, I don't even know what to do.
I think, in my best opinion, this is just my opinion. Do what you want. I could be wrong, but this is just what I believe. You guys need to break up. You guys need to know what it's like to not have each other by each other's sides, because you guys are attached, but not in the proper way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're attached to each other because you're so used to each other, it sounds like, but yet there's also resentment there. It's not
Mhm.
like a pure type of innocent situation. So you want to separate, especially if you're confused. You guys aren't married right now, so it's not a crime to move out. It's not a crime or against the law to separate. You should do that so you can clear your mind and be on your own and decide, do I even want this? Do I even like him? And,
Mhm.
you know, secondly, if you're judging him, you're not seeing clearly in general, um, what's going on. And it's not good for, I mean, anybody really to judge, but for you to judge him because eventually it's
Mhm.
going to get worse and worse. And then who knows where that can lead. So you don't want to be with somebody that you're constantly judging. He doesn't want to be with somebody who's judging him
Yeah.
either. So I think the proper thing is that you guys break up and be friends, or even kind of go your separate ways just for a little, just to see, do you want him? Does he want you? What's other
Mhm.
people? What's the world like? You guys are only 23 and 24. There's no rush to do this. And you're already having problems, and you're only 5 years in, barely getting to know each other still.
Right. Yeah. And I actually 100% agree with you. I would do it. I think I would be scared to approach that conversation because, again, like I've never. And then I guess the one thing I did approach him was like the S. I was like, we
Yeah.
should stop at least that
Yeah.
because I already don't feel comfortable doing that, to be honest, now that I'm on this like other journey or whatever. And he gets mad, he gets
Uh,
very angry. He listens to
uh,
JLP not as often as I do, but he's still in his hell, I guess, so
yeah.
I guess I'm kind of scared to approach that conversation.
I see. Well, if he's that way, I'm taking your word for it. If he's that way, you don't want to cater to that behavior, by you
Mhm.
leaving also, or explaining to him you want to break up might make him get his life in order. Cause, if he's playing games all night and doing all this kind of stuff and not really getting his life together, then he has some, major
Mhm.
issues that he has to correct. But he may not be doing that because he gets his cake and eat it too. He got you there, he got his games there. You know what I mean? He gets the
Right.
S, he gets the S, and all these
Mhm.
things are not helping him develop either.
Yeah.
So I would say
No,
just
you're
have
right.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just suggest you guys really just break it off. And it doesn't mean forever. And it's not even a big deal. Don't even look at it as like, oh, it's over, we're breaking up. No, you guys are just doing the right thing by separating, living separately, however that works out, and just to clear your mind and see what's important.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What
Yeah.
makes it
Well,
hard? What? Because it sounds like you want to, that's what you got to do, but you can't do it. Why is that?
I think we just I guess I don't. Well, 5 years probably doesn't sound like a lot, but for me
Long
being so
enough.
young, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like you said, we've been used to each other. We've been playing house pretty much.
Yeah.
So and this will be like out of the blue for him if I were to confront and be like, hey, I think we should go our separate ways. Like you figure out who you
Yeah.
are. I got to figure out who I am. Like this will come out of the blue for him. He has no
Yeah.
idea that I'm even having
Thinking
these
that.
thoughts in my own head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't know. It's
see.
just kind of scary.
Well, the longer you wait, the worse, it's gonna be. And also, you don't have to necessarily go up to him and say, "Hey, we should break up," but just go to him like, "Hey, we need to talk. I've been feeling this kind of way lately, and I just think that the best thing for us would be to separate." If you truly see that that's the case, right? And you
Mhm.
just tell him exactly everything you told me. You should be telling him so he knows what's going on, and then tell him that the best thing is for you guys to separate. And but you got to be able to see that that's the right thing, or you're not gonna do it properly.
Yeah.
You're
No,
gonna
and I
have you're
get
gonna
that
have
that's the
doubt.
right thing. It's just that the thoughts in my head then start, kind of swaying me one way or the other. Oh, what if this happens? And I
Oh,
don't know. It's just like I'm just too in my head.
yeah. So you're like you have so fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, just know that anything that your mind is telling you to do is you can't know what's going to happen. You can't tell the future, and regardless of the fear or not, if you see this is the right thing, it'll all work itself out. So whatever has to happen, whatever happens when you tell them that is what needs to happen, what's supposed to happen. And you just got to let that be, or else you're going to cause suffering for yourself, and then you're going to cause suffering for him, and it's going to be a worse
Mhm.
situation. Maybe you guys have, God forbid, especially if it's not the right time, have children or get married but in hate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't want,
Mhm.
you want to have joy and peace in your relationship. So you're 23 and you guys imagine getting married and being miserable at 23. That's not that's not a fun thing to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'll hear JLP say too, a relationship, like you're not supposed to work on a relationship. It's supposed to just happen naturally.
Yeah.
And I feel like work, or at least me, I'm constantly trying to make it work, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know, because, I do my part, and then he kind of just comes home and he's game. Like, he has no idea that I have any of these thoughts, and I'm just over here suffering in my hell.
And he might be
Too
able
afraid to do
to,
anything.
yeah, he might be able to
Mhm.
give you sound. I mean, I don't know him, but he might be able to clear a lot of those things up if you express it to him like, hey, and he might even change a little bit and, try to work on himself or whatever. But I wouldn't suggest trying to deal with it and hide it, hide your problems from him because they involve him too. You know what I mean? That's the relationship that you guys are both in. And you want
Uh-huh.
to be able to have those discussions about that kind of stuff because maybe he's not even recognizing how much that's affecting you, his behavior and all that stuff.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, and just know that even though you mean well, that fear is selfish as well, and not to like
Mhm.
make that a big deal, but it's selfish because you're leaving him in the dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know you mean well, and you're just trying to do the right thing, but it's also not fair to him that, we're having this conversation and he knows
I
nothing
know.
about it. You know what I mean?
I know.
And he don't even know that
Yeah.
there's problems. He probably knows, but he doesn't know that you're really feeling this kind of way, possibly.
Mhm.
And that's not right either. So you just gotta do it, Caroline.
I know. When I do it, I'll call you back and I'll let you
Yeah.
know how it went.
Yeah.
But
Do it
yeah.
and forgetting the mom. I know you hear JLP talk about forgiving the mom. That's all the
Mhm.
fear and stuff also comes from a lot of the upbringing as well. So you want to be able to face the first person that brought the fear into you in the very beginning, which is the mom or the dad or the family dynamic. You want to deal with that priority as well. Whatever you decide to do first, but you definitely want to deal with these things. You don't want to brush them under the rug like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
I feel
mean?
you. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I know you only got an hour. I don't want to
I
take up a lot of
know.
your time. But thank you for real. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. And I hope that made sense. And call me again and fill us in on how it went.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'll
Uh,
call you back. Thanks,
all right.
Cheryl.
Sounds good. Have a
All
good
right.
one. Bye.
Bye.
Nice. Never let your girlfriend listen to Joelle. Poor girl just getting pushed around. Yeah, it's I know people who've been in that situation. I know like a direct situation with a family member of mine. I know exactly they've been together since high school, all this stuff, and it's not working for them. And they have a child, and the child's suffering. The child is suffering because of it. And it's all because of, just being lost in the mind and lost. And I hope that Caroline hears this part. I don't know why I just didn't think to mention it, but I've seen this happen firsthand. And it's not to try to scare her or scare anybody from, you better do it or it's going to be trouble. But it's just a heads up. Like, you don't want to let fear consume you in such a way to where you end up in a bad situation. So you just want to deal with it. So I hope that made sense to Caroline. And we wish Caroline well. And that's just my opinion. Joel not saving relationships if the man is happy. He ain't happy if he's, and I don't know if this is true or not, but if he's playing video games all night and all that stuff, trust me, he's got his own stuff. And there's nothing wrong with doing stuff in moderation. You could play a little bit, but just, if it's too much, then it's too much. Anyway, let me get to, I got to show you guys this scary thing. This stuff is scary. You guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? So, a friend sent me a video. When I saw this, I was traumatized, even though I kind of knew that this was real already, but I was still traumatized when I saw this. It was so scary. And I highly suggest that you brace yourself for this and make sure you got your pillow and stuff ready and you did your silent prayer this morning. Because if you didn't do your silent prayer this morning, you ain't going to be able to handle this. This so bad. Ooh, this so scary. And it's true. It's a real thing. It ain't fiction. So brace yourself. This is from X. Okay? I'm not even going to explain the clip. I'm going to just jump right into it. Here we go.
I like shy, a little anxious guy. His hands too nice to start a fight. I don't really worry if he's not in mine. He doesn't go out, stays in all night. Nah, he's not like the rest. We click like a Death Star Lego set. He's quick-witted with his tongue, but he takes his time just to make me come here. Don't be scared now that I'm near. I won't hurt you, baby.
I just had to take a moment of silence again for that. Did you guys know that's the same person? Did you guys know that that exists? Did you guys know that that's walking around on the streets? Not just her, multiple, many. Hold on, I don't think you guys seen it.
I like shy, a little anxious guy. His hands too nice to start a fight. I don't really worry if he's not in mine. He doesn't go out, stays in all night. Nah, he's not like the rest. We click like a Death Star Lego set. He's quick-witted with his tongue, but he takes his time just to make me come here. Don't be scared now that I'm near. I won't hurt you, baby.
Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, for one, I don't know if you guys noticed, but she didn't have teeth in the before one, and then she had teeth in the after one. So there's so many things here, but this is just a perfect example of so many things. But before we demonize, I want to explain what I believe, how this happens, because this is just an example of all human beings, everybody in some kind of way, right? But just know that you go on a date and you see this. Hold up. You go on a date. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, no, that's not it. We'll come back to it. You go on a date and you see that. But yeah, you wake up and you see the first one. Crazy stuff. But what I wanted to talk about that is what that is insecurity. So what that is what you see is a person who doesn't know themselves. And now to give women the benefit of the doubt on this specific thing, I'm going to get to the men too, us men. But to give the women the benefit of the doubt, they've been taught their entire lives that makeup is beauty. And there's nothing wrong with makeup. And, at times, there's in the proper amount. There's nothing wrong with it. But they're taught that this is beauty. This is what people like. This is what the men like. This is what makes you beautiful, right? They're taught that. And so they do it. And it's not taught that knowing yourself is where your actual beauty comes from, right? And the ones that the ladies that guys truly respect, even if they don't say it, even if they don't show it, even if they treat you in a different way. All people respect people who approach things with just common sense and moderation, not overdoing it. But what we just saw was just an example of just a person not knowing herself. But when you don't know yourself, you kind of get lost in your mind and emotions. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is you get lost in the mind and the emotions. And when that happens, you think all kinds of crazy things. I saw a UFC fighter, a female UFC fighter. This is not even fake. She had the fake eyelashes on. And when she was in the UFC fight, they got knocked off. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, the idea of going out to fight in the UFC to get beat up, but still to look pretty is just, I don't know, it's just a crazy thing. But it's all because lost in the mind and the emotions, right? It's just insecurity, not knowing who you are. And because of that, you think you're ugly, you think that you're not attractive, you think that only people like this, and so and so. And you actually become those things because you believe them. But it also doesn't help, Lord don't help, that the men are lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce too. And men, we chase insecure women. Why? Because we can use them. Not all men. And not the men who are waking up, right? Even though, still. But because the insecure woman, in the back of the man's mind, he knows that he can get what he wants from her. And he can easily deceive. So men are lost in that, and they become subject to that. But then there's the men who have good intentions in approaching the women, right? They have good intentions, like they're not trying to just use them up. They mean well. They want to get married. They want to take them seriously. And even those men, not all, but a lot of them are complete boys with their girlfriends. Like, it's so bad around when I look around. It's so bad how guys are complete boys with their girls. Like, it's almost like the girl has a lesbian boyfriend. That's really how it is. Because the guys are so feminine too that the girls get along with them because it's like too emotional together. And then the guys start praising a woman because they're looking for the love of their mother. You know, we heard JLP say before, which is so true. They're looking for the love of their moms in these women. So they praise them and they submit to them and they do what they want to do. Why? Why is that the case? And it's because they're insecure and they're identifying with their feelings. They're identifying with their feelings, right? And then when a woman doesn't know herself and the man is subject to the woman will make up rules of what she has to do or what she wants and what she demands in a relationship and what she needs to make herself feel better, right? Which are things that she doesn't even really know what she wants, right? She doesn't really know. And she'll make all these rules and the men will follow them and the men will do everything, all of it, will do everything to please them. And then the women will still find something wrong with the man. And the man will just do it. And they'll just be subject to it. And then the men will start to identify with the emotions and the feelings and their entire masculinity done, changed, gone. Might as well be a lesbian. Really? Honestly. And it's just because people don't know themselves. I'm telling you, people don't know themselves. And it's crazy to see it though, because like I see TikToks and Instagram videos, like, what do you call those things? Like couple things. And it'd be so crazy to see the guys do some of the stuff that they do with the girls on there. And the girls are just, I know the girls are telling them what to do and how to do it and everything. And then on top of it, their voices sound girly. Like literally, like, I'm not making this because it's all spiritual. So the guys are becoming more feminine and even their voices sound girly and they have girl mannerisms and they do the girl stuff and they please the women and all that stuff. They just cater because they don't know how to overcome. So they just identify, I'm just this way. I'm just this way. Isn't it crazy? How do I know this? How do I know this? How do I know? Joel, how you know that that's true, man? How do you know that that's how they act? How do you know that that's how they feel? How do you know that they identify with the feelings? How do you know that that's feminine spirit? How do you know? Because I've seen that in myself. I have seen that in me. And I was like, what the? You know what I mean? And I see it. I see the temptation come at me with it. I see the feelings wanting to take over. And thank God that I can see it though. When I tell you guys that I was so, well, still probably now. When I tell you that I was so sugary I don't even think you guys know. The word beta, it might have came from me. Like, it was so bad growing up. When I tell you, I was never, the gay stuff was never my thing, but what I mean, just like soft and scary and just lost and emotional. I used to do some crazy stuff that you guys would be like, whoa. It was so bad. But like, God has been changing my life. But the thing is that being able to see is like, and God is showing me who I am more and more. But it all comes down to just knowing who you are. That's really what it is. It's really about knowing who you are. Because when you know who you are, then you let things go easily because you know it's lies. You don't believe every single thought that comes in your mind because you recognize that that's not true, right? You know where you come from. You know who made you. I ain't talking about your parents, God. You know, you just know. So all these people who are doing this makeup stuff, be careful, y'all, because I'm telling you, anybody, these things are red flags. I'm not saying avoid all people who do this kind of makeup stuff or guys who look effeminate and stuff like that. I'm not saying just avoid them and demonize them. But I'm saying pay attention because they're telling you that there's something going on with them. Insecurity that's there. You know what I'm saying? And I still be feeling some stuff. I be like, dang, what the heck? Trying to have feelings again and trying to be feeling for a lady that looks pretty and want to be like, I still be. But the good thing about it is that when you see it, seeing it allows you not to identify with it. But don't mean you don't feel it, Lord. Trust me, I felt that girl at the skating rink. Lord, I was feeling that. I was feeling all kinds of things. Okay, let me chill. There's kids watching. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, listen, God had to take over. But if you just pay attention and you keep your eyes open and you just watch it, God deals with it. He has to deal with it. You can't push it down. You can't avoid it. You can't run from it. You can't judge it. You just gotta just give up. Give up trying. Literally, give up trying. Give up trying. I'm telling you. I was beta wasn't a word for me. But anyway, I'm going to take a break from that and I'm going to get to some calls. But let me check some super chats real quick right here. And shout out to the girl in the video. No shade on her. I'm just pointing out that that's just, insecurity that causes you to go out the house looking like an entirely different person. That's not you. And when you go out and people perceive that as you, and maybe this was just for the video, maybe she doesn't actually dress like this or do that, but people are going to be disappointed that they realize that you have no teeth. But it's fine. You ain't got no teeth. That's fine. But don't pretend like you're this something else. You know what I mean? Because Ryan Moon chances are her looks. Changes her looks from a 2 to a 9 is insane. Asians do it too. There are whole compilation videos of it. It is the Kardashian culture that promotes women's standards. Men, oh shoot, hold on. Men in masses are not asking women to put on all that fake up. He says fake up. Yeah. But it's just insecurity. And us men gotta know where that's coming from so we know how to approach it. Cause judging it ain't gonna help nothing. You know what I mean? You gotta know what's going on. Because there's something missing. And if you're of the light and you can see, then maybe if it makes sense and you're led to do it, you can point in the right direction to fill that void instead of, being like me and leaving them hanging at the skating rink. Don't do what I do, folks. Anyway. Oh, I didn't finish super chat. Birdie Brown Brian says, the thumbnails don't miss. Right on. I take pride in my thumbnails. It gotta make sense. Let me just check one more time, then I'll get back to you. I'll get to your calls right now. Let me see. Did I get all those? Let me see. Let me go to John out of Texas. John, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel, can you hear me?
How's it going, John? I can hear you.
Man, thanks for taking my call. And wow, that song was like bizarre.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Man, that fallen state. I used to be in that fallen state. Now I'm not. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to share advice, but man, it is hard to be in a relationship.
Are you in one right now?
Isn't it?
Are you in one right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Explain what you mean. Explain what you mean.
I've had some before.
Oh, okay. And explain what you
It's
mean
been
by
10
it's
years since
hard.
I've been in a relationship.
Explain what you mean.
Well, women don't give you well, I don't want to complain, but you really do got to know yourself. You really do got to know yourself.
Yeah.
Because that fallen state is just so, makes you believe that women can make you feel this way, makes you blame women. They can make you feel this way. They can make you feel that way.
100%.
Keeping it PG.
And you're right in that it
But,
is. Oh, go ahead. Finish your point.
Nah, go ahead.
It is. You're right, though. It is very hard to be in it when you don't know yourself because you're trying to figure out the woman the whole time, and then you end up doing everything you can to please her, and then you realize after you please her that she's still not pleased. You can never please her. And it's not our jobs to try to please them. Our job is to do what's right. And if you don't know yourself, it's hard to go with what's right because you're caught up. You're all over the place. You're left, you're right, you're up and down. So it makes it extremely hard to, walk in the right way.
I haven't been in a relationship I've always had terrible relationships anyway, but it's been 10 years. And when you don't need to get into one, you don't need to get into one, but the fallen state tells you that you need to get into one.
Yeah.
Or that you want one. But you know what my dad said? My dad gave me some advice, which I don't want to give anyone advice, but you know, if you want to be in a relationship with a woman, I suppose she's going to want you to lead her.
Yeah.
So what my dad's advice was they want a protection, a provider, and a friend. They want to feel safe. They want to be secure. They want to like be at home.
Yeah.
And they want to have fun.
Yeah.
Like everybody. Everybody's like that.
And
that's just a person.
No, 100%. And they really want to be able to trust you. They really want to be able. They're really looking for guidance, and out of that guidance, and this is my opinion. Out of that guidance is exactly what your dad was talking about. Is that they're looking for, what does protection look like? What does security look like? What do these things look like? And they want to be able to see it in the person that they're pursuing, so they can emulate it, they can follow it, they can become it. So he's right about that.
Well, man, that's more to think about.
Yeah, if you know, it's funny because the girl that called in, you know, it's tough. You have to be able to, you know, see that your husband or the person you're pursuing is, you know, God is with them, or he's working on himself, because that's where you're able to realize that, okay, I'm in the right direction. But oftentimes, it's so easy just to look at, how do they make me feel, or does he have a lot of money, or does he think that I'm beautiful, and these things that are so emotional based that when they pass, then you're left empty. And a lot of people are in these situations, like the girl in high school who got with this guy in high school, and now they live together, and they done did all the stuff, all the feelings, and now her feelings are passing, and she's like, what the, you know what I mean? So all the women are just taught to look for the wrong things, and the guys too, if that makes sense.
Yeah, some of them even go into like politics. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You know, it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
But I'm still struggling to like get to. Well, no. I'm all right. All's well. I was just gonna. I'm trying to keep it PG-13.
Well, no. Well, so. If you want to share it, just keep it as clean as possible. But you could share it.
Right. I mean, you know, women don't want you like nobody wants you like in their personal space. You know, like that's uncomfortable, and especially not a man.
And what do you mean by that? They don't want you in their personal space?
Well, this is when you're in the fallen state, and you know, you're like a little kid following his mommy around, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't. Women. Yeah, they don't like that, but they'll take it though. They'll take it, which is it's an interesting thing, but it's a mess. Any last comments on that, John, before I move the calls?
Man, keep it real.
Right on, John. Appreciate the call, and call me again.
No.
All right.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, no problem. I realized, and I'm gonna keep moving the calls, I realized that women like to not all, but women who are, you know, lost trying to find their way. They like men to be a little bit dumber than they are. They choose their men a little bit dumber. So that they feel secure in that. They feel in control. They feel dominant. And it makes it like boosts their confidence, right? They like to, and I noticed that they like their man to be a little bit dumber than they are. So that way the man has something to look forward to in them. It's so weird. It's a weird thing. But that's how the emotions and the insecurity and void and all that stuff works. It needs to feel good about something, confident about something. So that I find that pretty interesting too. Let me go to. I'm coming to the end of my show here, but let me go to Jamil out of Canada. Jamil, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Jamal, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, you cut out yesterday.
Let me tell you something. I appreciate how you handled that situation. I listened to what you said after it cut out, and I think that you hit the nail on the head with what I was saying to you and what I was trying to portray, even though I didn't really call to necessarily try and say anything in particular, just what was on my heart.
Yeah,
so
right on.
I want to say thank you for that. I think you are on the mark with that.
Right
and
on.
Before you go, it's just amazing to see that I started listening to Jesse, and now I'm listening to you, and I think that everything happens for a purpose, and I think that you're doing a great job. You understand? I appreciate you for that.
Right on, man.
I just wanted to comment real quick on the since I was listening, I wanted to comment real quick about the being in relationships with women and certain things like that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
One of the things that I wanted to mention was that it's very interesting to me as I've as an individual myself. I have been in multiple relationships in my life,
Yeah.
And one of the things I had a friend that came to me. He's a very I consider him to be a wise man, but I take everything with a grain of salt. But one day he said to me, wise people don't talk about what they know; they talk about what they learn from others. And he said to me, Jamil, when I knew you in high school, you used to deal with women in a specific way. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you were always with women, but it's not because you were following them, it's because they were following you. But he said, you have changed. And this is where he started to check me. You understand? And I realized that even listening to you guys, listening to you, listening to Jesse, it's not so much that I don't know what you guys are going to say. It's that I'm seeking to be checked from somebody that feels like a brother or a father or a friend.
Yeah. Nice.
And a lot of times people don't realize, especially men, when they are young, they already know how to deal with women. But over time, it becomes distorted, the perception of them. And they think that they have to begin to start treating them in a different way than they did when they were young. When you're young growing up, there used to be a saying growing up, girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Yeah.
And boys, and vice versa. Yeah. And the girls have something to say about the boys.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was always, girls have cooties from the man's perspective.
Right.
Well, I realized that over time as we grow up, we stop treating women like they have cooties.
Right.
But we come upset when they do things that we knew they were always going to do.
Yeah.
I think the cooties is a joke. Obviously, I'm making a joke, huh? I'm not literally saying they have cooties.
Right.
That's ridiculous. But what I'm saying is that we always understood, even as young men, that there's certain situations where you just don't hang with women. There's certain situations where you don't deal with them in a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
And when my virgin told me that, I realized that I forgot who I was. And when Jesse says that you have amnesia, a lot of these men don't realize what he's saying. He's literally saying, like, you forgot that women have cooties. Like, you can't just be hanging around them just to hang around them. You will become them.
Yeah.
Because Yeah, because what you have to understand is that what is attractive to you, you want to be attractive even as a man. But people take words very, very personal. They take it as though it's like if you say attractiveness, you want to be maybe you don't like women anymore to be liked on the radio.
Yeah,
you don't want to be a man anymore. But no, you want to be attractive too because it's only human nature. Because you want to spread your genes, you want to do certain things in life, you want to grow not just as an individual, but you want to spread your seed.
Yeah.
So when you hang around a woman and you know you're around attractive things, you also want to become attractive. So the more you hang around women, is the more you start to think I have to be like that woman to be attractive. But what they don't realize is that's a lie.
Yeah.
That is a total lie.
Yeah.
You have your attractiveness comes from you understanding that the less you're around them is the more that they want you.
Yeah.
And if you have total control over who you are, which I never had, so we're not going to pretend like I'm something that I'm not. But the more you can be in control of who you are, and you don't think that every woman. It's funny how, Jesse always says, he made a joke. He said, the people up in space, they are going to be up there for all these months. He's wondering when the woman is going to say she was sexually assaulted. And I started to laugh. I said, he's telling the truth. Because over time, you're going to realize that the more you hang around them, like men think that every woman has a right to touch them. But as a man, you should realize that every woman don't have a right to touch you the same way.
Yeah.
They believe you don't have a right to touch them when you want to. And that's a thing that you get from the Father, from God, from your dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That every woman don't have a right to touch you the same way that women tell each other. We don't have a right to touch them when we want to. You understand?
100%.
And once men understand that, you know what I mean? It's going to. I personally believe that they're going to start to become aware, and I think you're doing a very good job of it. I know that Jesse's always making jokes with you that you change it. He black, you changing lives, all these things, and he makes these jokes. But after listening to you, I think that you are generally trying to do the right thing, and I appreciate you for that. And it's very funny because the phone cut off when I was trying to give you your my appreciation for you. And I wanted to say to you, you're the enemy. The enemy had to cut the phone off, but then I said, I don't even know why that happened.
Right.
So I just left it alone. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But isn't that crazy, Joel? And let me tell you something. You have the same name as my pops. You know that, eh?
Oh, really?
You have the same name, yeah. And
nice.
You have the same name as my pops. I believe everything happens for a reason. I think that men need to realize that when they're around women, the most important thing is that you never wanted to do what they do. So why is it that when you're a man, now all of a sudden you want to do what they're doing? It doesn't make sense. When you were a young boy, you wanted to fight. You wanted to play sports. You wanted to prove who was the big dog in charge on the playground. Mi perro. In Mexicano, they say, mi perro, my dog, my brethren, my dog.
Yeah.
When men are hanging with men, they want to see who's the big dog on the playground. But when you hang around women, they don't want to see that. And you have to realize that at some point in your life, there was a switch.
Yeah.
There was a switch. And once you can realize that switch occurred, you know what I mean? I think it will help a lot. I would like to know what you think about that, because you've been bang on about some stuff. I ain't gonna front with you. You hitting some lottery level points. I ain't gonna lie.
No, man, you're speaking the truth, man, and I agree. And what caught my attention the most of what you said a lot of good things, but what caught my attention the most is that I like how you said that you're listening to the shows and it's helping you to check yourself. And I think
Absolutely.
that the biggest thing that people are afraid to do or won't do is be honest with themselves, right? They're in denial about everything. And
that's right.
And when you're in denial, you stay in the dark. God can't work on you. You can't grow if you can't see. And you should want to be corrected. You should want to be checked, because when you're checked, that's how you get better, and you actually are drawn closer and closer to peace and love and joy, all those things that everybody really is seeking. And and it starts with first being honest. So that's what really stood out. But everything you said, man, is true. Even with the whole woman thing, and you don't want to be around too much, because then you start to be they start influencing you instead of you influencing them. And
you become what you hate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you start to identify with it, and you get caught up in all these different things, and you want to remember who you are. And when people don't know who they are, then that's when they get lost and do all kinds of crazy things. So great points, man. I'm so out of time. I appreciate you tuning into my show, and both calls that you've had have been some good input. So I appreciate it, Jamil.
Appreciate you. Before you go, I want to say this to you real quick right here, right? I always say to people that because people come to me and ask me questions, and I'm not the smartest guy, but I say this to them. If you can check yourself before other people check you, it's better. Because nobody is going to be nice to you about it when they do it to you.
Yeah.
You understand? It's never going to be nice coming from them because we can't handle it. And I think that's what you guys are trying to portray. So I appreciate you, big dog, and I will make sure to continue to call, maybe not every day, but the last 2 days you have been talking to me directly in my own mind.
Right on, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good to hear from you, man. Call me again.
Have a good day.
All right, you as well. Right on. Great call from Jamil. I've heard him on the Destiny Pearson show. He sounds like a guy that I met before in a previous job that I worked. That tone, and I think they're from the same place, and they have like a very like intriguing sound to their voice that you just want to listen to. So on top of him speaking the truth, I appreciate his call. But right on, Jamil. And shout out to Pops. Got the same name. Right on, Pops. All right, guys. Man, I didn't even get to everything, but that's okay. But one thing, if you take away anything from today's episode, let it be this one thing. Let it be just this one thing. If you take away anything from the episode, let it be this.
Please listen to your intuition and yourself. So many of you talk yourself out of your inner voice, out of what society, your parents, and what you think is the right thing to do. Don't. I'm telling you, don't. We do not understand intuition right now. One day we will. And I believe intuition might be the most underrated energy of the human spirit. And I believe in 100 years we'll understand how meaningful it is. And I think your gut is more powerful than your brain. I just don't think people follow intuition enough.
The intuition, the gut, whatever you want to call it, is the voiceless voice of God within, the spirit within. And when you know that and you can recognize that, then that's when all your decisions are made. You think for yourself. God is able to lead you, and that is your guiding force. And if we can just all get to that, then that's it. You can hang it up. So, bam! Shout out Gary Vaynerchuk. He's always on the money. And he's a smart guy, and he's right. Trust your gut, and your gut is the spirit within. It's God's voice. Learn to trust that, learn to recognize that, the difference between that and emotions, because there's a difference. Oh, there's a difference. And when you recognize it, it's a whole different thing. You stand firm, you stand tall. But I got to end. So at a time, JC and the rest of the callers, I can't get to you right now. I'm sorry. I was going to try to squeeze it, but like I'm pushing it already. So call me tomorrow and I'll get to your call and all that good stuff. What's today? American Anchor Baby is coming in at 4 p.m. Make sure you guys tune into his show. You don't want to miss that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Joel Friday TV across the board. Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe. Punchy TV. Oh my, Punchy TV coming up. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Punchy TV on YouTube as well. That's a new show that featuring me and the other host. My goodness, it's so good. So make sure you guys tune in every Monday at 2 p.m. for a new episode of Punchy TV. Amazing stuff. I gotta go, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the calls. Amazing stuff. All the viewers, live chat, YouTube live chat, shout out. IG live chat, shout out. Facebook live chat, punchy.tv, different from Punchy TV. Live chat, shout out to all you guys and all the mods, mod squad. Y'all the MVPs. I'll be back here tomorrow for some more mess. All right, y'all. Bye.